Out pops this dude, head to toe camo, man.
Look, this way. Yo, you cannot put that in, bro. I'm gonna get shot for sure, bro.
Probably had us in the iron sights the whole time.
He fought that thing for about 8 or 10 minutes. He's holding that big trout, pretty rainbow, you know, and they take pictures of it.
I was looking through Instagram one day and I saw a post by Kevin Hilliard, also known as Overland Florida. And he had posted on his story a video of his girlfriend driving her 4Runner through a river. And then when I rewatched it, I noticed there was a guy fly fishing in the background. So I had asked him to send it to me. I thought I could make a pretty funny Instagram reel. So I cropped it in to make the reel start with just the guy fly fishing. And I know where this 4Runner comes plowing through the water. So it was pretty funny. I had a lot of comments of people like talking crap, saying, damn, why would that guy do that? Why would they drive through the river where the guy's fly fishing? But this is actually a very common water crossing. Every video I've seen about the Georgia Traverse, everybody's commenting, asking about it, where is it? So I started to dig around and I found the location. I was messing around with trout routes and I just kind of like threw it up, like I'm just gonna find any river in the app just to try to get comfortable with the app. And sure enough, I hit it. And then I look and I read Charlie's Creek. I was like, oh crap. I always wanted to check out this spot. So I started calling around. I hit up Travis. You might remember Travis from a few of my videos in the past. The Lost Files, trout fishing up on the Sequoia River. How do you say it? Sequoia.
Yes, Sequoia.
Trout fishing up in the Sequoia River. I don't know how you say it. But anyway, we're up there trout fishing up in North Georgia. Travis was there, Ty was there, and we had a blast. You know, I started planning this trip. I hit up Travis, I hit up Jameson, I hit up a few other guys to come on this trip. Everybody said, heck yeah, I'm on board. People started dropping like flies. Ed couldn't make it. So now it's just Travis and I.
Dookie Trail. My name is Travis Duff, and I am a former fly fishing guide reliving my glory days this week. My name's Travis Duff. I'm a Capricorn. I'm not funny. I was a guide on the Sequoia River for I don't know how many years, 5 or 6 years, and then I kind of migrated west after college, and I was a guide in Dillon, Montana. And I was a shop rat, more than a guide, I was a shop rat.
Right before heading out, I made a video washing my truck, getting ready for this trip, and I realized my roof rack was broken. It was missing some hardware. I couldn't find the hardware anywhere. Well, good thing I decided to do this video, because it made me realize that this roof rack bar is completely off, just hanging out on one side. I called Travis, broke the bad news, started trying to game plan and figure out what our options were, and then it just dawned on him. We were gonna borrow his mom's car.
So this is where Ruby came into play. She has been all the way from coast to coast. So from the Atlantic coast to the Pacific coast, not necessarily in one trip.
He's gonna lie to you and say it was his car, but it's not. We just borrowed his mom's car.
He was gonna bring his Tacoma, and that was gonna be, you know, our vehicle for the trip. And a couple days before, it just wasn't gonna work out. He ended up renting a minivan. So I was kind of panicking a little bit, trying to find a vehicle. Laying in bed one night, I was like, boom, idea, Ruby.
He's gonna come up with all these stories of how he slept in it, but I'm pretty sure it's all a lie. It's not. He's got pictures to prove it.
Come on, baby. Oh! Sir. Ruby was my car at one point. It's a 2016 Nissan Xterra, and it's a freaking beast, right? I mean, I drove it across the country to Montana, 4-wheel drive, it's fantastic. Hard case.
Nope, turtle box. All right.
I like that bigger more.
Yeah.
This is what I did when I got it. Boom, old school right there. See it? Perfect rod holder. Let's ride. Seat belts. We'll go out this way, we'll go down the dirt road, we'll come all the way back around, and then we'll be at the river, sort of, kind of.
How far is that from here?
Probably 15 miles of dirt road. A couple of water crossings.
He knew there was a dirt road near his mom's house that had a couple water crossings, so we went there to make sure we got our feet wet before we actually tried to cross the real river. So because of the plucking things out of a hat at this point, you know, Travis is like, I know we're supposed to go explore all these waterways, but he said his buddies were gonna be fishing on some private land near his mom's house. So we decided to pop on by and see if we could get something done.
But my buddy Zach had hit me up and said, hey, I've got this spot. It's privately managed water, but there's a ton of wild fish in it. This guy basically owns, you know, 50, 60 acres, and he's got about a half a mile of riverfront of just pristine river.
Travis introduced me to his buddies, Zach and Luca.
Big wilds. If you can get on one, you just got to be super technical. Maybe get in there with something a little bit more natural, less color and stuff like that.
Yeah, show them the tooth. Give them the tooth in there, huh?
That's the cover for
My name's Luca Fiore. I'm a part-time fly fishing guide here in North Georgia, and I've got access to this beautiful stretch of river through a really good friend of mine. He's nice enough to let us come out here and guide it and fish it. And it's a special stretch of water. You got a lot of really nice wild fish, as well as a good mix of stockers. We're at the headwaters of the river, so the water stays relatively consistent temperature year round, so it makes for awesome fishing.
Luca rigs up a fly rod for me. He puts on this, you know, tapered leader with a dropper rig. I make like 2 or 3 casts with the dry dropper rig, and I just wasn't feeling it. Like that first little fish, I lost the whole rig. This is why I throw a streamer. Coming straight from tarpon fishing and stuff, I'm like, I'm just gonna throw a streamer. I didn't say anything to anybody. I just walked to the car, grabbed my other fly rod. What knot should I do from 25 to 4X? Tied on a snook fly on it, and I'm like, I'm gonna give this a shot.
And we're on, you know, a river in northeast Georgia, and there's a snook fly about to hit the water.
Meanwhile, Luca and Zach are looking at me like, what is this guy doing? We literally just rigged him up for trout. We fish here often, and he's gonna go ahead and throw something else. I start making some casts, ripping it through this hole, and I see a big flash. And I'm like, oh, I'm onto something.
And sure enough,
This actually might work. Of course it's gonna work. I've caught a brown trout on the same exact fly in the past. It was just a different color. But this time all I had was black and purple, and I'm like, maybe it'll work. It seemed to be working because first and second cast I saw a flash. I swiped it, picked it up, threw it back in there, rip, hook up, fighting this fish for a couple seconds, and it just pops me off. Oh, God. Breaks that 4X tippet like nothing. I don't even know if Travis was filming because it all happened kind of fast, and he probably didn't have any confidence in me catching something on a snook fly. When it comes to fishing, if you ain't confident or comfortable in what you're throwing, you're not gonna have good results either way. So I figured I'm gonna have the best chance of catching something when I'm 100% in my comfort zone. So finally that hole is kind of burned out. Switch up to a small little streamer, walk down to another hole, start ripping it through there. I'm like, finally, got a fish on the board, gonna get a fish on camera. Luca goes and scoops it with the net. Jumps straight out of his hand back into the water, swam off. We decided to call it quits, and Luca was like, hey guys, I'm gonna go ahead and supplement the fish if you guys just wanna watch the chaos. We're like, what chaos? Like, what is this guy talking about? At the end of the property, he did not want to fish there. He kept telling us, oh, we can't fish here. It's kind of like a gray area. The hole is like right on the property line. So we're well within the property line where Luca is allowed to be. He throws a scoop of fish food, just kind of show us the chaos.
So we're just kind of standing there feeding the fish, chilling, watching them, and out pops this dude in head to toe camo, man.
Look.
Yes, sir. Immediately said, hey, who's Luca? We need to talk to him.
Which one are you looking?
who's Luca?
Who is Luca?
Dude popped up literally like a professional wrestler. I'm surprised there wasn't some like backing track, like walk-up music. Dude popped up, I mean, arms swinging.
Walks through the barbed wire like he was tagged into a match.
And we're just sitting there like, what is going on right now? Luca chimes in, he's like, hey, that's me. He's like, I need to talk to you. As soon as he gets across and we realize that, you know, he's coming to talk to us, another guy on the other side of the river pops up.
And out of nowhere comes some freaking creepy old guy out of the woods. He just kind of walks out with a shotgun on his back, looks dead in our eyes, turns sideways to make sure we can see the shotgun, and then he just slowly walks back into the woods.
From there, some homeboy comes out with a shotgun, stares us down, walks off into the wild blue yonder.
Grandpa's sitting back there just chilling, probably had us in the iron sights the whole time, you know, ready to blast one.
Yeah, never to be seen again, so yeah, welcome to Georgia.
The conversation was had with Luca and this individual. It became really clear that they were legitimately waiting for us to get to the south end of the property so that they could confront us with whatever was going on.
He was nice. He was a nice guy. Definitely nervous, but we'll figure it out. I got a whole summer to make friends with him and the whole family. So maybe I'll invite him over, you know, play some badminton. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, I don't know if I want him at my dinner party. You know what I'm saying?
No way!
Toting shotguns around in the woods, making sure nobody's hanging out around their property or even fishing on someone else's property with permission, you know. Wow.
Oh, I can't believe it. Eric's sitting over here, he's like, man, if you just filmed that, we would have gotten 1 million views.
Eerie feeling knowing that they were waiting for us and that they're in full camo with a shotgun specifically waiting for us. We jump back in the car and hit the road.
We head out, it's really cool property. I mean, you've got probably a half-mile drive across this beautiful pasture. There's 2 old barns from like the early 1900s. You drive right by those. You hop out on this little 2-lane road and I mean, nothing but mountains around you, so it's absolutely beautiful. What's next? Where do we go next? What's the next play?
We decide to hit it up to the spot, the water crossing.
He actually found the coordinates to this water crossing on the Trout Routes app, and turns out it's a Tier 1 stream for trout fishing. So I'm actually, now that I think back about it, I'm not surprised this dude was fly fishing right where this 4Runner was plowing through the river. Seems like you've got 2 hobbies that really correlate with each other in a very small space right here. We get to the water crossing.
There's this guy sitting on his tailgate in full-blown waders. Travis asked him about crossing the water, and he's like, oh, you guys are fine.
We honestly weren't sure if Ruby could make it across. There was quite a discussion had before we just sent it.
He went through there in an old Impala station wagon with his wife.
It was great. It was a 76 Chevrolet Impala station wagon, and come up through here and it was just rough. My wife said, oh, don't go across it, and I'm like, we gotta try it. And I hit that water running, and we got over the other side. It's cool when you're young, funny things you do.
This guy was hardcore. Like, I mean, we're sitting here in a 4x4 trying to figure out, hey, can we make it? Homie's over here telling us like, yeah, man, I cut through this in a station wagon. It's no big deal.
I'm just an old fart that's retired and fixing to have some fun with life. That's what way I look at it.
We spent so much time talking to Michael. He told us a bunch of different stories about everything, just about life.
2 old men got out and walked down there, and awesome, man. He wasn't there 2 minutes. He hooked one, it was that long.
Good night.
Oh, and I realized I'd never really caught a big trout before, and I realized I ain't got tackle for that, you know? Serious, I'm serious.
Yeah.
He fought that thing for about 8 or 10 minutes, and they were up in their late 70s, okay, their age. Hey, them 2 old guys were jumping around, their wives got out. He's holding that big trout, pretty rainbow, you know, and they take pictures of it, and then they get back in their van with their fish and go on down the road. And I'm like, I'll be son of a gun. You know, we throwed everything in the book. Can't, but he knew where to go. He knew what color, whatever to throw. And there's a big dog here and there. One of them memories you'll never forget, kind of like crossing this creek.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, exactly.
It was exciting for us to be y'all guys' age
Yeah.
and see some old 70-year-old farts jumping up and down.
It's exciting for me to just sit here and hear your stories.
I know, agreed.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, live it through you.
But that's just some treasures I've had coming up here over the last 40 years, and I don't get up here much at all. Blessed to even be up here now, and
It's a good place to spend some time.
He's been battling colorectal cancer for the last 5 years. He said he's on borrowed time, so it's always a blessing to be out there and be able to enjoy the sounds of the river.
it's very reflective to me. 5 years ago, I come down with colorectal cancer.
Oh, wow.
And I hadn't been up here in 8 or 9 years, me and my wife, and we just got back from Myrtle Beach. She had to cancel our week down there when I come down with the cancer. 2 years later, it jumped on my liver, all that chemo and radiation again. And in fact, the end of this month, I got another round of double CTs, and they've been doing them every 3 months on me for the last 5 years. And pray the Lord, the end of this March, they'll be clean again, and nothing's kind of changed, and we're going to default back to every 6 months. And prayfully it'll give me and my wife a moment in time to go do a little bit of camping and seeing, I'd love to go out west. I never seen that big gully out there.
Yeah, you got to do that.
Yeah, so it's all good. I'm just thankful to be here. Praise the Lord every day. I'm just here.
Well, we're glad you're here too, for sure.
Definitely.
What turned me on about this place more than the trout was that precious God sound of that water. Well, guess what? The Lord blessed me with 6 acres. 10 miles from the Alabama line, I've got a river flowing. It sounds just like it. Because when I come up here and I was y'all's age and kids and all, you know, they're like, I ain't never gonna be able to get something like this, you know, never live something like this. I'm telling you, the Lord's blessed me with that place, and it's really neat. It's got a 4-foot waterfall on the front of the property and a 6-foot waterfall on the back of it.
Man.
Probably got some nice smallmouth bass in there.
Yeah, shoal bass. Sounds like you got a little slice of paradise.
Son, and this noise is so precious. You hear this God sound in 2 places, out there on the beach and up here,
Right here on the river.
Up here on the
That's
river.
what I'm talking about.
No, I love
The
it.
view doesn't suck either.
No,
The
good
sound and the view they go hand in hand for
They
sure.
go hand in hand.
His spirit, his enthusiasm to be out there made it all worth it for me, really. It was just about getting to this spot. I just saw it on YouTube. You know, I had seen it on Spartan Overland. He has a whole film where he goes and does the Georgia Traverse. This particular spot always stood out to me. Then seeing Overland Florida's video also, you know, just drew me to there. And then it's kind of weird that the day we ended up there, we meet Michael, and he's telling us all these stories about his life and how don't take it for granted, essentially.
So after we talked to him for a while, you know, we decided, let's go for it. Let's get over there. If we make it, awesome. If we don't, even more awesome. It's going to be a great story. We got into the river, and Ruby, she performed as always. We got across no problem.
We just crossed the Tallulah River at the Charlie's Creek water crossing on the Georgia Traverse. Climbing up this hill here, looking for some decent water to fish. I mean, you can see the river right here. Here's the rig, there's the river. Got the gear in the back. We're gonna hop down and see if we can't catch one. Cool stuff along the trail here too. We're obviously not the first ones to come up here, so some pioneers before us have definitely staked their claim, but we're gonna head up here and see what we can do.
It's pretty ridiculous that people came and spray painted up some trees and stuff. Like, you're tagging up a wall or an old train cart, I get it, but really? You're gonna tag up the side of a mountain?
Hop back in the rig, we realized, dude, we're chasing, like, darkness is chasing us right now. We're running out of time quickly. We were having such a good time in our conversation talking to Michael that we honestly lost track of time. So from there, we just kind of started hopping hole to hole to hole, spot to spot to spot, looking for fish.
We see some dope overland rigs that are hanging out at one of the campgrounds, kids swinging off a rope swing, jumping into the water. Meanwhile, we're here putting our waders and boots on, and these kids are pretty much in just board shorts jumping in the freaking river.
I think the day before that, it was like the low temperature was like 18 degrees, and this kid's just sending it on a rope swing, pow, into the river. So that kid was hardcore.
I just don't think the juice is worth the squeeze up here. It's just not enough water. We pop in and out of there 3 or 4 times, and then the hole would be blown. That's all skinny up there. One good hole down there.
All right, I really like this spot, so I'm gonna go ahead and create a new marker within trout routes. Create. I'm gonna go ahead and put the name Big Bend with Trout. And I'm gonna add a photo of it. So I have a reference and I know the spot. Probably should have taken a photo along the river, but this at least gives me a photo reference. So I went ahead and I saved it. Had about a decent 14-inch or so trout come up and swipe the fly and try to eat it. Missed it. So we're gonna keep hopping around and see if we can get more fish because we're racing the sun now. And we still gotta get across the mountain again, back home.
After that, again, we were just trying to kind of hit spot to spot to spot, looking for these wild fish. Found a really, really nice looking plunge pool with some fish rising in the back of the hole. The only issue was it was probably 30 feet down this sheer rock embankment, and I had flip-flops on like a moron. But we went for it anyway, so.
But he's like, I'm gonna send it. I'm like, how are you gonna send it? He's like, I'm gonna scale down the side of this freaking cliff and get down there. It's the most action we've seen all day.
I scaled this all the way down to the bottom, got down to the hole.
I was shocked he was able to make it down there without like breaking an ankle or something in those sandals, and his thong sandals, of all kinds of sandals.
Made a couple of really, really good casts with a tiny little caddisfly.
I'm watching it from above so I can see the whole thing unfold. I'm trying to film it and watch at the same time. Trout comes up, looks at the fly, and then just breaks away. I'm like, oh.
That was a really cool experience just to see them. I mean, this water's crystal clear. I mean, it's turquoise blue, it's beautiful. And I mean, you can see the colors of the fish in this water. It's absolutely gorgeous. Climb back out, immediately Eric's like, hey, talk to me about this on camera.
And he's gassed out from the freaking climb out of there.
Sorry, I'm out of breath from climbing the hill. Yeah, give me a second, that was actually kind of intense. And my leg's really cold now.
I'm sitting here like, hang on a second, man, hang on. Yeah, I'm not sure what to say right now. I can't really breathe.
Okay. All right, so we're driving along and look over to the left at this really crystal clear pool. We've been looking for fish all day, looking at different holes, and there were some fish just sipping on top. Decided to climb down the bank. The spur of the moment thing, we had to do it quick because they were sipping, so we tried to go grab one. It didn't work out. I got nice and wet though, so it's all good.
We fished that hole, the sun won and dropped below the horizon. And once that happens in the mountains, it starts getting dark really quick. It's not like a slow sunset. Once it drops behind the mountains, it's nighttime.
I'm not satisfied by this trip. While I had a blast and it was great, it just gave me more hunger to come back out and try to really take advantage of it. So I'm gonna dig deeper into trout routes. I'm gonna go ahead and plot out a whole path that we wanna take.
Unfortunately, we didn't catch a whole lot of fish up there, but I'll tell you, just the experience.
It was still a blast. We got to meet some awesome people along the way and just share some great experiences.
Yeah, it became apparent that you're not overlanding if you're not sleeping in the woods. You know, we kind of thought we could pop into these little trails. Ooh, here's a hole, catch a fish. Here's another good run, let's catch a fish here, and then pop back out, as the sun goes down. It's not overlanding, that's off-roading with fly rods. It's not exactly the definition of overlanding.
Stay tuned for the next one. This was just a taste of what's to come.
Check out Aura Studios. That is my new channel. So hope to see you guys there. And if you like what you see, please comment and subscribe.
Hopefully we get a lot more fish next time because I just kept popping them off. I gotta knock the rust off before we take on the next one.
I'd like to take this moment to thank a few people. Thank you to Travis's mom for letting us borrow her car. I'd like to thank Southern Comfort Cabin Rentals for the amazing cabin. My family had a blast while I wandered in the woods. And a special thanks to Trout Routes for believing in my idea and making it possible. And last but not least, thank you guys for watching.